All right, so you see right here, Dwight Howard posted this where it says, as above, so below, just letting you know what he's aligned with in terms of the concepts of hermeticism or alchemy. That's what as above, so below is in reference to. Alchemy, the understanding of the opposites coming together, as well as the alchemic understanding of, the spiritual realm and the physical realm and how they're interchangeable. It's like God is Satan and Satan is God. That's the concepts going back to Aleister Crowley, in which he pushed the as above, so below doctrine. And when you look at the Baphomet, that's another understanding that is pretty much in conjunction with Aleister Crowley, as well as how it goes all the way back to ancient Kemet. As above, so below is based in hermeticism or alchemy, opposites coming together. This is why you have the black and white imagery here. Dwight Howard is letting you know he's covering his bases. The black and white represents the opposites coming together. Just like the Baphomet, the androgynous deity, as above, so below. Opposites coming together. You have the male and the female coming together, and they're one. And the number 3, that also has a lot to do with the understanding of the male, the female coming together, and them being one perfection type entity. Just in terms of the concepts and how they go back to the pagan understanding, and it pretty much being of ancient Egyptian origin or ancient Kemetic origin. But yeah, man, as above, so below. Dwight Howard letting you know what he's aligned with in terms of the alchemic understanding. He's a hermeticist. As above, so below. In these revelatory times, we're going to start to see more and more what these people are about. We are living in the time of revelation. This is the great revealer. This is great revelator. Whatever you want to call it, however you want to phrase it. These are the times that we are living in, where we understand based off of how things are being more and more conveyed. The time draweth nigh. So it's important for us to understand and keep our spirit, our eyes focused, and our head up, just when it comes to maintaining our understanding and, keeping our alignment. As you can see right here, this is Travis Scott's album cover for Utopia. Utopia represents that perfect world. This is why you have the as above, so below pose. And he's kind of like falling. He's like falling into a certain, rabbit hole per se. And he's going into that perfect world, that perfect realm, utopia. As above, so below, the opposites coming together. And the reason why, this further conveys the theme of as above, so below is because of the pose. He got one hand up and one hand down. When you see celebrities with one hand up and one hand down, sometimes it's not of their own volition and sometimes it is. It represents as above, so below. And even when it's not of their own volition, the picture, just the picture itself, based off of how it's used by certain platforms, it represents some sort of esoteric significance. And in this case, it's as above, so below. The opposites coming together, alchemy or hermeticism. That's why you see one hand up, one hand down. And Travis Scott is a big time figure in the entertainment industry. He's someone who's a big time asset. The all black also representing the Saturnian aspect, as well as the left eye being highlighted. So Travis Scott is someone who's a big time asset in the entertainment industry, and he's used for a reason. But yeah, man, Utopia represents that perfect world. As above, so below. You bring together the opposites and you have the perfect entity or the perfect world. Utopia. Now, obviously, as you guys know, this is the Jordan logo. The Jordan logo also represents as above, so below. The logo. And it's a reason why I'm emphasizing the logo, because when he did this dunk, obviously it wasn't for as above, so below. This is just how he dunked the ball. But when it comes to how it's taking on a life of its own in terms of how, the people that pretty much control him, they use this logo for the sneakers, as well as just the brand in and of itself. This represents as above, so below. This is why the GOAT name is attached to him. And this is why in Gematria, I think Michael equals GOAT or something like that. So it all makes sense in terms of the significance behind these things. Just when it comes to these totems and whatnot. It's important for us to put 2 and 2 together with everything. This right here, this logo represents as above, so below. One hand up, one hand down on either side. When you see certain images with celebrities and they pose with one hand up, one hand down on either side, represents as above, so below, especially when it comes to whatever platform is using that image. And even if it's just a regular image from a celebrity where they posted on Instagram, you have to understand the conveyance on the three-dimensional level in terms of what they're really trying to tell you, because it's only up to us, the hidden ones, to discern what this is really about. Certain simple people, they just gonna look at it and say, oh, it's a nice photo or something. You know what I mean? So it's important for us to maintain that spiritual eye. And you see the black and white. Black and white, they're Masonic colors. Red and blue, they're Masonic colors. And these principles all go back to alchemy. Masonry goes back to alchemy, goes back to ancient Kemet. Opposites coming together to create perfection. This is why you see what you see on the Baphomet. The GOAT, just like that's associated with LeBron James, Michael Jordan, most of these celebrities, it's pop culture, GOAT this, GOAT that, it's all a part of, the normalizing aspect, the breaking people down to where people accept these things. This is how you get people to worship the GOAT, really. So you see here, this right here is the Baphomet, the Satyr, going all the way back to Leviticus 17:7, where it talks about the devils. It talks about the Satyr, half man, half goat. And in this case, this is not necessarily half man, half goat. This is just the androgynous deity mixed with the goat. It's pretty much half man, half woman, half goat. Because you have the man and the female parts coming together, opposites coming together. Solve a coagula represents destroy and rebuild. These are Masonic concepts, destroy and rebuild. This is what they do. This is what they do when it comes to their psyops and these things that take place on a world stage. You have an event that takes place, you come up with something that's pretty much going to counter that event, and then you have a solution from it. Destroy and rebuild. Solve a coagula. What happens when someone bleeds? They bleed and the blood pretty much coagulates. That's what it does. It coagulates, especially when it's like a crazy amount of blood. You know what I mean? It coagulates. Especially like as far as when someone bleeds, somebody cleans it up. It's hard to get cleaned up because it's just going to come together just based off of the texture of the blood. It coagulates. Solve a coagula. Destroy and rebuild. The GOAT represents the understanding of sin as well as opposites coming together. When I say the GOAT, I'm talking about the Baphomet. The GOAT in and of itself, it represents sin, but the Baphomet also represents sin. But just saying, like, it's not necessarily just sin. That's just pertaining to the GOAT, in general. But the Baphomet entity, it's a lot in regards to the understanding of what this was inspired by. We already know Eliphaz Levi's, the inspiration as far as the drawing from it, but the inspiration goes back to the Satyrs or Esau, and that's on a deeper level in terms of the understanding of the GOAT, going back to the Satyr or Esau or Pan. That's what the Baphomet represents, as well as the understanding of Hermes coming together with Aphrodite, and you have hermaphrodite. You have the hermaphrodite entity or the androgynous entity.